Oh my god. That's a Bitcoin, boys. If you're struggling to make money, or you just want to be completely loaded with cash this wipe, then you need to watch this video. Today I'm going to show you a loot run that's perfect for new players and people having a hard time surviving in Tarkov. As you know, surviving raids is the most important thing to get you through those early levels, and this is a reliable run you can do to avoid most of the crazy PvP interactions and get a lot of high value loot and quest items safely out of raid. To prove how good this route is though, here's some screenshots of a few runs I did just filling up a raid backpack and my pockets of loot. I've also estimated a rough figure per trip and what you can expect to make on average if you're allowed to loot everything. The beauty about this run is not many people know the loot spawns or even bother going to this side of woods. Before I jump into raid and show you the route, allow me to pay off a few of my bills with a quick message from today's sponsor. Raid Shadow Legends is a free-to-play turn-based MMORPG. There's over 600 champions now, and all of those come from unique factions, each with their own history in the world of Teleria. The main thing that attracted me to Raid is the incredible cinematics and amazing graphics in-game, not to mention the seemingly endless amounts of content to get involved in. It's so easy to get immersed into the world of Raid. Use my links below in the description to download Raid for yourself, to your PC or mobile device. The newest boss coming to Raid is the biggest and craziest yet. This thing is a Hydra with 6 different heads, each one a complete boss battle on its own. You see, the Head of Suffering, this guy's got a new effect called Pain Link, which lets the head share some of the damage it takes with you. So if you hurt this thing too much, you're in for a bad time. You'll need a champion that can take care of that debuff and redirect all your team's damage to this head. And then there's a Head of Mischief. This thing is no joke. It can cause pure chaos in a fight, and it seems like it has a lot of fun doing it. If this head gets a turn when you've got a fully buffed champion, you should be worried. It'll steal all your buffs from this champion and spread them around to all the other Hydra heads in the battle. It's chaos. What I like about this game is how easy it is to jump in and start playing. Raid is a content-rich game that introduces new players really well, and personally, my favourite part is battling my way through the various campaigns they have to offer. Oh, and if the biggest and baddest boss in the entirety of mobile games isn't enough for you, there's more. Raid's also giving away a super limited edition champion to every player in game. Some of you may recognise him already. It's esports legend and Na'Vi superstar, Simple. Between now and January 28th of 2022, Simple's limited edition champ is available for free to both new and old players in Raid. All you have to do is log in for 7 days between now and January the 28th and he's yours. If you miss that date, you miss out forever. On top of that, it's the holidays, so Raid's got a full schedule of festive activities with special events and tournaments, and even some fusion events to help you add some of Raid's incredible festive champions to your collection. There's seriously never been a better time to get started. Hit the link in the description or scan my QR code and you'll get an epic champion, Rector Draft, 200k silver, 1 energy refill, 1 XP boost, and 1 ancient shard, so you can summon awesome champions as soon as you get in game. All this treasure will be waiting for you here. Just click the chest icon in the top right of the screen. Once you're in, you can find me in game under the name Tulu, and if you're fast enough, you can join my clan too. Just click the link in the description and I'll see you in game. So, why woods, Lou? I always get one tap from nowhere and run into landmines. Well, that can basically happen on any map you've not learned yet. Woods is actually one of the easier maps for newer players as it plays similarly to games like dayz or Rust. Since the environment is open with very little cover, it's easy to copy and paste your PvP knowledge to a map like this compared to interchange. Not to mention Woods has one of the largest uncontested loot pools, which I'll show you. But first, let's go over the run on paper quickly. So you're either going to spawn with an extraction for UN roadblock or outskirts. Those are the 2 main extracts. Depending on which one you've got, you'll probably want to start your run at either Old Sawmill or USEC camp. Let's pretend I started at USEC. I'd head over to Radio Tower, then the small camp next to Radio Tower, then the abandoned village, then Scav Town, and finally Old Sawmill. And depending on how the raid goes as well, I'll usually head over to the Sniper Rock, as there's a couple of rare item spawns there too. And if we just remove this stuff for a second and bring up those rare item spawns, you can see that there's loads of rare item spawns spread out across this route, especially in the abandoned village, which nobody really goes to. Another thing worth mentioning here is if I just bring up the extractions, you can just go straight from the mountain to Bridge Car Extract, or below Old Sawmill to the northern UN roadblock as well if it's open. This run goes around the edges of the map, plenty of distance away from Sawmill, which is probably the most high traffic area on Woods. Jumping into the game now, let's take a look through the run and I'll show you all the spots you need to be looting. I spawned at outskirts this time, so I'm going to run up to USEC camp. If you want this interactive map I've been referring to throughout the video, I'll leave a link in the description below. Heading into the camp from the south side, you want to be checking on all the tabletops for attachments, as well as the weapon crate for obviously any guns and more loot inside there. Once you've done that, I usually check under the rocks next to where the wooden beds are, as there's rare item spawns in here. You can get anything from lions to bitcoins in there. Hit up the other weapon crate. Again, look on top of all the boxes and surfaces for rations and things like that. There's a technical supply crate here, don't miss that either. Now, inside the truck here can spawn a fully decked out M4, so you don't want to miss that either. Again, coming over to the tents, look on top of all the surfaces for any rations or technical loot. A stock M4 can actually spawn against the sandbags there, so don't miss that either. Heading into the tent now, make sure you hit up all the crates. And at the back by the beds is a rare item spawn. Again, you can get anything from gold chains, chainlets, bitcoins to a lion here. Moving over to the other camp now, this one's fairly easy to loot. Just hit up all the boxes and there'll be various amounts of loose loot. I believe there's only one rare item spawn here, and that's on the floor next to the barbecue inside of the tent. An M4 can actually spawn next to the beds here, so check that. Here's that rare item spawn I was talking about. Again, it's fairly easy to loot inside the tents, just make sure you hit up all these crates. Coming out of the tents now, there's loads of medical spawns on the table out here. So if you are trying to get those early game Salewas, this is a really good spot. I've found some of mine here. Heading out of the USEC camp area now, we're going to be going up to the radio tower, also known as the Scav bunker extract. First place I'm going to hit up here is the bunker. There's 2 sports bags down here, along with a bunch of technical spawns, toolbox, rations, the lot. But there are a few rare item spawns here as well, and what you're going to want to check is these beds on the ground. And even if you don't think you see any rare items there, it's always worth walking up to it and checking, because sometimes the objects like to clip inside of the bed, so you can't actually tell if it's there, but you will get that white perception dot to show you that there is some loot there, and then you just have to sort of find it. Heading out of the bunker now, there's plenty of crates and loose loot around. And of course a grenade box, which you should always be looting. I'm not sure if the bed here is actually a rare item spawn, but I always check beds now. One thing I've found, especially with the map that I'm using, is there's a lot of rare item spawns that aren't actually documented on here. And you'll see that later when we start looting the Scav town. Heading into the next camp here, this one's fairly close by, so not too much running. You'll always want to hit up this crate, you can always get some good loot in there. And then it's just a case of going around and looting the cabins. Coming into the hut at the back, there is a rare item spawn underneath this bed. I've actually found a bitcoin here before. In fact, let me just throw in that clip of me finding it now. Before you leave the camp, be sure to hit up the crate, and then we're going to move on to the sunken village. This is the place with the most rare item spawns on woods, and although the map just says there might be 1 in a building, some buildings have up to 3 or 5 rare item spawns. I'm going to show you all the places that I've found good loot. Okay, so there's a rare item spawn as soon as you come in on the right. There's one on the bench, one inside the box here, one on the bed, beside the barrel. See, this time I found a gold chain. Streamer items can spawn in the boxes here, and there'll be ammos inside of the crates as well. And that's it for this building. Check the table here, as there is a ration spawn. I've found moonshine there a few times. Come into this building, you want to check the first corner on the left, between the bushes in the middle, and the corner in the back left as well. And that's it for this building. From here, you want to head over to where the boat is, and there's 2 rare item spawns. If you remember at the start of the video, this is where I found a bitcoin. From here, I usually go over to Mark Circle, as there's a few rare item spawns plastered around here as well. Doesn't look like there was anything this time though. Let's head over to the church now. Okay, so you want to go up the ramp, and then just check inside. There's a few rare item spawns plastered around. Inside the boat, right here as well. Okay, coming in here, there's a rare item spawn in the bushes next to the stash, where I'm hovering, and there's also a stash here. Interestingly enough, there are actually loads of stashes on woods, but I don't actually loot them in this clip or any of my clips, just to prove a point that there is so much loot on woods going around. If you hit a mixture of stashes and the spots that I'm showing you, you're bound to come out absolutely stacked. Okay, so coming into the building, straight away you want to look on your right, and again on the bench, below the fireplace, and of course inside the tent as well, as there's a rare item spawn in there. Into this building, close left, inside the bucket, and on the bed as well. Now into this building, I found some moonshine in here before, and there is a rare item spawn in here in the desk where the computer should be, so make sure you check that. From here, we're going to be heading over to the Scav town. Now on the wiki, it's not actually labelled, but there are a few rare item spawns in here. I found things like a Bitcoin, golden chain, lion. I found a lot in here. So coming into this first compound, I usually check out the grenade case on the floor here first. I believe there's also ration spawns around the box, so be sure to check for that. And then I do a quick loop of the house because on top of all these bricks and surfaces and boxes, there usually spawns loot. Inside the shed, be sure to look inside all of the cardboard boxes for loot, and then in and around the shelving area as well. Finally, going into the house, there's going to be a bunch of ration spawns in here. Into the room, check under the bed as there's a rare item spawn. Again, I'd definitely recommend lying down and just seeing if you can get that perception dot to pop up, just to see if you do miss any loot, as there is a sheet on the floor where the rare item spawn is as well, so it is pretty easy to miss things. Okay, into the last room, check the grenade box, sports bag on the desk as well. And then we're going to head out to the adjacent building. I usually go into the shed first. You can see I actually got a gas analyzer there. And into the building, be sure to check all the surfaces here and the table. Things like moonshine will spawn in here, and I found it plenty of times in here. So make sure you search it properly. Heading into the other room downstairs, always check this box because there can be a GPU spawning in there. If you remember at the start of the video, I did actually find one. And then there can be loot on top of the bed as well as under as well, so be sure to check that. Heading upstairs now, there's not too much up here. I'm not sure if there's a rare item spawned by this bed. I always check it. I've not found anything yet though. And then I'm going to hit up the sports bag. Coming out here to the shed, always check to the left of the shed as there's always loose loot laying around here. Alright, just finishing up here. Let's head over to the final building. As you come in the front door, always check the table for tools and stuff. Into the main room down here, there's going to be rations plastered absolutely everywhere. You can see I've actually managed to pick up 5 sugars, which depending at what point in the wipe you're at, can be quite a lot of money in itself. Another nice find in the garage here. Next, we're going to head upstairs, where there's about 3 rare item spawns. So you always want to check by the bed, inside of the cabinet here, and then underneath the other bed as well. Now, I always lie down and just look for that perception dot because there's always a real easy chance for you to miss a rare item here, especially as there is a rug on the floor. From here, there's another rare item spawn that you can get in the lake. I don't see many people looting this at all. That's why there's all the more reason to check this spot. Just have a quick look under the diving board and you'll be able to see if there's anything there or not. From Scav Town, we're going to head over to the old sawmill for the last few buildings of this run. Now you see I'm actually already full on loot here, but what I'm doing at this point is I'm just swapping out some of the cheaper items for items that are more expensive per slot. Now depending on how much storage you're taking into raid with you, obviously I don't have a rig here, but let's imagine I've got a tri-zip and I'm able to stack a few rigs in my backpack, allowing me to take quite a lot of items out of raid with me. You can really imagine the amount of money you can quickly start to stack up if you do manage to hit up all these locations and get out of raid. This building's really simple to loot. There's not really many loose spawns, so just run around and hit up all the boxes. Alright, final building now. There can be a bit of loose loot on the floor, so be sure to check it properly before you leave. I've been hoping to find a few good things in this building, but nothing as of yet. Just seems like a sports bag. Alright, from here we're going to head up to Sniper Mountain. There's a few more toolboxes and technical supply crates, and also a couple of rare item spawns, which again gives us a chance at lions, bitcoins, golden chains, all of that high value loot, which can really start racking up the rubles for you. Okay, and the first crate. Again, just trying to make some space and discard any items, pick up more expensive ones in the future. You can see I actually got another gas analyzer here, so if you are stuck on that quest this wipe, maybe give woods a go. Alright, coming down the side of the rocks here, I did get a bit unlucky and break my legs. But do be sure to check around the beds here, as the items are hovering for me in this offline raid, but in online raids, they actually clip into the floor a bit, so you need to be careful. Be sure to check around the floor properly and make sure you don't miss anything. Again, you don't want to be the guy that walks past a Bitcoin in raid. Alright, heading down into the bunker now. You just want to be looking around the candles at the very end, as that's where all the rare item spawns are. I found things like lions, bitcoins, and usually just gold chains in here. But again, all these items do start to add up and make a lot of money for you. Finally, an honourable mention for this loot run: if you do spawn near outskirts, it can be worth checking out this attachment hut. I didn't get anything good this time around, but you can get some really good items in here. Suppressors, scopes, lasers, even NVGs in here. Alright lads, that's the run. I hope you give Woods a try. It's certainly one of my favourite maps anyway. The PvP's there if you want it, or if you just want a less intense experience with a chance to earn lots of money, you can do that too. It really gives me nostalgic vibes of when I used to play the dayz mod back in 2012. Anyway, that's it for me. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to subscribe. I also stream over on Twitch. I'm currently pushing for partner as well, so I'd really appreciate it if you check out the stream or leave a follow. I'll catch you next time.